this edition of Sic Semper Tyrannis News. I'm your host, Mark Matheny. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you started your YouTube channel.
What really got the YouTube channel started was I was at a Trump rally in Wheeling, West Virginia. I was recording some of the event, and that place was full. There was not a seat left. They even had people down on the floor. There were about 6,500 people inside, and that's the limit for the arena. There were several thousand people outside watching on a jumbotron that couldn't get in. Well, the next day, local news media tried to flip the story on how many people were actually there, and they said there were only a few people outside watching, and that there were only a couple hundred people inside. And my videos said differently, so I put them online, and then it just kind of grew from there. But the goal was to call out the lies of the fake news media.
And how many rallies have you gone to with Trump? Have you just only gone to a couple, or have you gone to...
I've gone to many. We were just at the one in Delaware, Ohio, back in April.
Okay. So Conservative Corner Entertainment. For those who are watching Conservative Corner Entertainment, this is his YouTube channel. That is the right channel, right? Yeah.
Correct.
I just want to make sure. So if you're watching the show, people, go to his channel. He's got lots of videos that you can check out. These are, looks like you've done quite a few. Is there any particular events that recently have happened that, what do you think about the current so-called administration, I'll say?
It's a failed administration. I hoped for the better for our country, that it would be better than what it is, but now we're paying $5 a gallon for gasoline. No, that doesn't cut it.
What's your take on what's happening in Ukraine?
They're spending billions and billions on aid to Ukraine, including food, when we have a baby food shortage across the country right now affecting millions of people. They're more worried about Ukraine and its borders than they are us and our borders.
Right. And, I mean, obviously, too, remember the video where Joe Biden came out and he said, if I'm elected president, I would tell these people to surge the border. And, that's who we are.
In the first Democratic primary debate, Biden says when he's president, illegal immigrants should immediately, this is quote, immediately surge to the border. I could play the video if you want. Okay, you trust me? All right.
That's who he is, but that's not who we are. With new research, we're starting to see a lot of problems with this vaccine. But I still
see... Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But I still feel like he's not doing that. And I think that's kind of a small stain on him with a lot of Trump supporters. I think everybody still likes him. I think if he runs again, he would get him. But I really do think that I don't know if he's doing that just because he doesn't want to touch it until he becomes president, maybe, because he knows they'll give them ammunition against him if he runs or what. But I kind of always wondered about that with Trump, why he's still kind of supporting the vaccines when we're starting to see a lot of problems with the vaccines and things of this nature.
Right. And one big problem that we're having, especially here in Ohio, is problems with cardiomyopathy in the youth who have been vaccinated. And I don't know if you've seen it, but here recently there were, I guess, thousands of vaccinated children who now have hepatitis.
Yeah, I saw an article on that. Biden can't run again in 2024. I mean, what are they going to do? It's going to be like Weekend at Bernie's. They'd have to prop him up and, Kamala Harris on one side and Pelosi on the other and move him and stuff. He's going to be like 80-something years old. What do you think, do you have any thoughts? I'll just ask, do you have any thoughts or do you think that this current government is in league with these organizations like the World Economic Forum and the UN to kind of destroy national sovereignty in the U.S.?
I really do. And, It starts from within, and they know that. And they know that if you divide a nation and pit people against each other, that you can begin that process. And that's like on May 22nd, they're supposed to be having this vote of, I think it's 196 countries to pretty much sign over our health freedoms to the WHO.
Right. So, and I just recently did a video on that, and some of the things that, people go, well, what does that mean? And what portions of that document state basically is that they can go in, let's say if they, determine there's an emergency here in the U.S. and they have to lock down, they're basically stating with this new legislation that they can override states' rights and federal rights. And then there are also documentation legislation being, signed by this Biden regime as well. So it is getting very, very sinister, in my opinion, because they are actually people just don't realize how much they're pushing this UN agenda, and more they're pushing the sustainable development stuff and Roe versus Wade. They're pushing all this too, but really it shouldn't be federal law anyway. It should be states. States should each determine. That's the thing. If nobody's saying, look, I'm against abortion. I don't think that you should abort a child, but if I do think that if a woman is having a child and she's in threat of dying on the operating table, and her and her husband decide, to abort the child so she can live, she has a right to life as well. She has a right to protect herself, and if the baby becomes detrimental to her own health, then the baby, even though it's her child, kind of is an enemy against her then, because it's trying to kill her. You might understand abortion in that sense. But all these people are like, well, I have to abort because I have to think of my own life. Well, stop having sex with people. It's like, do you know how that starts? Right. Do you know the cause of birth? It's like, wear protection. Stop having sex. Right. But just like this, I was sitting there thinking about the baby formula shortage the other day. And I turned around to my buddy and I said, women do know they have two breasts, right? I mean, you can feed your child, you can breastfeed. My children were breastfed, and they came out super smart, beneficial. I know that some women can't do that, but my point is, it just seems like they want to push us away from everything natural. A man is a woman now, but he can run in women's sports and he can be a man. And, just the craziest stuff is going on. They're putting urinals in girls' bathrooms now. It's like, but I thought he was a girl. Well, he's a girl, but he could pee in a urinal. It's okay, whatever. So the morality is falling apart.
Right. And if you look at places like Venezuela, North Korea, Cuba, places like that.
Yeah.
The past of these countries is starting to creep up on us here in the United States. And right. People have sat by for far too long and let it happen. If there was ever a time to stand up, now would be it.